is the next movie I'm going to talk about is called Defendor, a 2009 movie. And this is my favorite movie of all of these three. I think the whole week, this whole past week we were off that I watched. It's a Woody Harrelson movie. That's Woody Harrelson. And he plays this developmentally, I don't know, what they like fetal alcohol. When back in my day, he's a little slow. That's what they would say. He's a little slow. He had fetal alcohol syndrome. His mom died when he was young, and she had ran off with some guy and died of a drug overdose and stuff like that. And he was raised by his grandfather and comic books. And his grandfather died, and then he was left on his own, with some exceptions with friendships. And that's kind of what this movie is really about. It's about friendship. And so taking his grandfather's trench club from like World War I trench club and a series of other gadgets. Like if you look there at Woody Harrelson's helmet, he's wearing a helmet with a pair of flashlights and a video camera lens mounted, which runs to a VCR in his equipment, on his equipment belt. And he records everything that happens. And what he does is he dresses up as this Defendor character with an O. He gets very mad if you don't spell it correctly. Defendor character, and he has a bunch of little toys. He has a car that he calls Defend Dog. His car's called Defend Dog. He didn't have a special name for his hideout. He should have, you know. His like weapons, he's got the trench club, you know, but he'll like throw marbles at people. And apparently it's not as ineffective as you might think, because all of a sudden it may hurt a little bit, but all of a sudden there's a bunch of marbles laying at your feet, you know. Not as ineffective as you might think in the context of this movie, I suppose. And he also has like jars of wasps that he'll throw at people's feet, and the wasp will start stinging. It's basically how somebody with an 80 IQ would fight crime. And that's basically the issue in this movie, is he's a little slow. He wants to help people, you know, and he usually gets his butt kicked for it. I mean, he's constantly getting his ass kicked in this movie, getting arrested by the cops, and they start to understand, you know, he's a little slow and so forth. But he keeps getting in over his head. And I remember me and my friends, when we'd be around the lunchroom table talking about comic books, and said, if you really dressed up like a superhero, that's a good way to get shot. And you know what? That's very true. You know, if you think that you can go after organized crime or something like that, you have another thing coming. You're going to end up dead very soon. If you dress up like an idiot and start going around the seediest bars of town and say, tell me what you know about the mafia, you're going to end up dead very, very soon. Okay? It's like Team America World Police. It's like, hey, how you doing? I'm a terrorist. Can you tell me about any terrorist events coming up? You know, it's just you're so dead. You're so dead at that point. And so, but this guy, he keeps, I don't know, like accruing friends, because he does try to help people. And in this movie, he had helped his coworker's kid. He works holding a sign, you know, on the highway, and you know, stop, you know, go, that kind of work. And he has a friend, his foreman, that he works with, and he had saved his kid's life at some point from a car. You know, a kid was running out in the street and he grabbed him, you know, that kind of thing. And so his friend, he's always looking out for him. And then one night he gets jumped by 3 guys. He comes into work all beat up, and he's like, who did this to you? What happened? And he's like, oh, it's like 10, 12 guys, something like that. And so I got to take you to the hospital. And he's the friend that takes him to the hospital. He also has another friend that's played by Kat Dennings. Oh my God, is she a beauty? Holy cow, is she a good looking woman. Kat Dennings, who is a prostitute and a drug addict, you know, and he ends up being a friend to her. And she thinks that he's after what most guys are after, but she tries to like go, you know, offer him, you know, what does the wind do kind of thing. But he doesn't pick up on that. So she thinks he's just being nice to be nice, and that's how their friendship develops, you know. At the end of the day, even if he is slow, he is a good person. And even if he is misguided by doing this Defendor character, you know, he's still a nice, good person. He's sitting there telling her, it's like, you really shouldn't do drugs. You know, she tries to steal one of his comic books. He says, you shouldn't take other people's stuff, you know. And they have this cute little conversation where he goes, he's like, everyone needs help. And then he goes to the superhero voice, even superheroes. I mean, and that's a great line. I always liked that line when I first watched. I watched it twice this weekend. So everyone needs help, even superheroes. And that's incredibly true. All right, there's a very interesting conversation that happens at the end of the first act, where they're at the hospital, and then Defendor gets taken into the hospital room to be treated, and the family and the son and the mother are sitting there, and it's like, what? And the mother says to the son, "What does this teach us?" And the kid goes, "Next time, have a gun." And the dad laughs, right? And she goes, "No. It's like, is that fighting, violence never solves anything, right?" And the dad says, "I don't know, sometimes you can get," she's like, "Honey." And I don't know, it's such an important conversation. It's like, this whole idea that like violence doesn't solve anything is ridiculous. All right. Because the kid says, is it wrong to even, he says something like, is it wrong to fight even if you're helping somebody, even to help somebody? And it kind of cuts. It goes to the next scene, because the parents probably don't know how to answer that correctly. And the correct answer is like, yes, sometimes violence can solve a problem. You just got to be very judicious about when you use it. Like, don't dress up as a superhero. Don't do that. It's a good way to get shot. All right. Let me see. Next time I have a gun. It's kind of a touching story, and it's a really heroic tale. I mean, when it comes to like superhero movies and the crap that Marvel is churning out, this is more the story theme and I don't know, in-depth character study that you need to have instead of these super teams and stuff. This is the kind of superhero movie you should be watching. All right. The Marvel movies, they were great. Like, man, I mean, I feel like Jack Black. Yeah, Scorcher 1 was awesome. Let's go. It's yeah, the Ed Norton's Hulk, I loved it. The first Iron Man movie, loved it. But this is a movie we should be watching nowadays. So 10 of 13 stars, Defendor, starring Woody Harrelson. He's another guy who works a lot. I read recently that Nicolas Cage is turning 60 and probably going to slow down. It's like, dude, take a break. Absolutely. I'm sick of you. Every week I get like four more videos pop up for free on YouTube with Nicolas Cage. I was like, holy cow. Does that guy ever take a break?